All right, hey everybody. I know everybody's missing tennis right now, but one of the most important things that we can do to stay in shape is to make sure that we're exercising. So, I have developed a 30-minute workout that's going to help with some of the agility that you need for tennis, as well as some core movement, rotational core movement specifically, that's going to be really helpful when you are back to playing tennis, hopefully really soon. So, let's start talking about what you're actually going to need if you participate in this workout. So, I have a mat right here. If you have carpet, that's fine. You don't need a mat, but it is helpful. I also have a set of weights here. These are a little bit on the lighter side, so if you have a lighter set of weights, that's helpful for some of the options. You don't need weights, but if you have them, that's great. I also have a medicine ball. This we're going to be using for some of that rotational core movement. Regardless of what equipment you have, you definitely need some sort of heavy object that you can use for some of these more rotational core moves. So if anything that you can think of that you have around your house that's a little bit heavier, at least to provide some leverage for when we're doing some of these rotational core moves. It doesn't have to be super heavy. If you do have a set of weights, you can just grab one weight for some of these moves, and I'll explain it as we go along. So the first thing we're going to do is a 3-part warm-up. Each part of the warm-up is going to be 30 seconds, and we're going to go through it twice. So 3 exercises for 30 seconds, 2 times. So I'm going to get my timer started, and then I will start doing it with you. So the first exercise for warm-up are arm circles. So we're going to start by doing some arm circles. You can do some forward. You can do some back. You can try to go both ways. That's really hard. I actually really can't do that. Forward, back. Make sure you're holding your core really tight while you're doing this to keep your muscles supported. One at a time. All right, now we're going to move on to a torso twist. So that is taking your arms a little bit out in front of you with a slight bend and twisting back and forth. And you don't need to overdo it in the warm-up. If it's hard for you to twist, you can limit your range of motion a bit, as far as you can go. Back and forth. All right, and the next exercise is going to be the invisible jump rope. So you're going to imagine that you have a jump rope. It's going to get your arms into it a little bit. Hold your core in really tight. You can alternate like I'm doing here. You can jump up and down. You can go out and in. Anything that's small steps. It's going to get your heart rate up as we start this workout. 5 more seconds here. And we're going back to the beginning with arm circles. So we're going to go through this warm-up one more time. You might have more range of motion the second time around. Alternate, backwards, forwards. This is just the warm-up. Five more seconds here with the arm circles, and then we're going right into those twists. All right, go. If it's helpful for you to slow it down a little bit to really engage your core, this is your warm-up, so this is your chance to really make sure you're ready to go for the workout. We're going to be doing a lot of core. 3, 2, 1. And back to that invisible jump rope. Get that heart rate up. You want to make sure you're moving your arms too. These are kind of like mini arm circles. But a little bit easier because as you're moving, if your arms are out to the sides, that would be harder. So if you keep your elbows closer to your body for these little arm circles, it's a little bit easier. But you can also take them out for a challenge. 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the first mini circuit that we have. And while I do this, Make sure you keep your feet moving. Don't just stop moving because you want to keep your heart rate up because you put the work in for that warm-up. Okay, so each one of these circuits is going to have 2 exercises. So you only have to remember 2 at a time. The first exercise is going to be a core, and the second exercise is going to be an agility cardio move. So I will offer some modifications as well as we go along, but I'm going to start by showing what the intended move is supposed to be. So for the first one, the core, this is an overhead torso twist. So you're going to grab your heavy object, whether it's your weight or a bottle or something like that, or a medicine ball, and it looks like this. So you're coming down past your hip and up to the other side. And the key here is to twist your torso. That's why it's called an overhead torso twist. And other side. So what we're going to do is we are going to switch sides halfway through the interval. And I will show you that and do that with you. If that is hard, you can drop the weight, anything that you are planning on using as a weight, and just twist without it. Okay? The cardio move is a lateral lunge jump. So you're going to find yourself some good lateral space, and then you're actually going back and forth like a lateral lunge, but with more movement as you're going along. So you're coming down, jump in the middle, and you want to get that back leg out as far as you can get it. Now that's the intended move. That lateral movement, as you know, is really important on the tennis court, but if that's too difficult, then you can come with your feet together and step out in a lateral lunge, step out in a lateral lunge, because you're still getting that really important lateral movement that is so good for those tennis moves. All right, so we are going to do these 2 exercises, 30 seconds each, 3 rounds, and I'll do it the whole time so that you know how to keep track. So you're going to grab your heavy object, medicine ball, weight, some sort of object, or no weight, and we are going to start with this first 30 seconds in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. Down. So make sure you're really feeling that twist at the top. When you come down to the bottom, you're actually coming into a little bit of a squat. All right, and now we're going to flip to the other side because we're halfway through. And the interesting thing about these types of exercises is sometimes it's easier on one side than the other. Not really sure why. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we're going to take a 10-second rest, and then we're going into that lateral lunge jump. 3, 2, 1, and go. So back and forth, trying to cover as much ground as you can. See how much space you can actually get in between those jumps. If that is too much, no jumping for you today, you can do the step out, lateral lunges. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and 10 seconds of rest. You're going to pick up that heavy object again, medicine ball, weight, whatever it is, and this time I'll show you how to do it with the weight. And go. Down, up. So you're gripping the weight on either side. Okay, switch sides. And you can even think about looking over your shoulder to make sure you get that twist right. 3, 2, 1, and stop. 10-second rest. Get ready for that lateral lunge jump. 3, 2, 1, and go. Now, if this is actually too easy for you, you can see that I'm coming down and touching my back foot to the ground in between. You can do it a different way, where you actually don't stop and touch the ground with your back foot, and that does make it harder. Keep going. And you could also be doing the step out version. 3, 2, 1, and 10 seconds rest. Okay, last time for these 2 exercises. 3, 2, 1, and go. Overhead torso twist. So you're bringing it nice and low, right to your knees almost. And switch sides. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and stop. 10 seconds of rest. And we're going to do the lateral move one more time. And go. And remember, I've offered a lot of different things on here. So it is your choice what you would like to do. You could opt for that one leg, although you can see that's hard. It's a little balance challenge. 10 seconds left. Or if you're doing the step out, that works too. Just make sure you're sitting back in the step out. 2 and 1. Done. Okay, you made it through the first of 4. The next one is also going to require an object, although, again, always the option to leave the weight out of it. So this core move is called a Russian twist. There are a lot of options here. So you can take your object, whether it's a weight or a medicine ball or just something heavy, and you're going to hold it right here at your chest. Now here are your choices. This is sort of the moderate version with the weight. You're twisting out to each side of your body. The harder version is lifting your legs, creating an angle, and rotating that way. That is very difficult. And of course, you can always put the weight down and do either one of those options, no weight. The key is to really get in that torso rotation because we're working on core rotation as part of our tennis game. All right, and then the agility exercise is going to be a line run. So you can find an imaginary line, but ideally find a real line. I can just use the space here between my floor and my mat, and I'm running back and forth across the line. I'm staying on my toes, small steps. Obviously, you know staying on your toes is very important for tennis. I'm sure you've heard that before. All right, so we're going to get started in 10 seconds with those Russian twists. So you want to pick up your heavy object, your weight, or no weight is fine. And we are going to get started in 7 seconds. 6, 3, 2, 1, and go. So you're working with a few different options here. I have my feet planted here. You can lift your feet. That gives you more core work. Feet down. But the key is to make sure you're really twisting and feeling that rotation. 3, 2, 1, and stop. 10 seconds to find some imaginary line or real line on the floor. 3, 2, 1, and go. Small steps on your toes. And if you want a challenge, you can bring your arms into it. So the goal is not to drop your heels, it's to stay up on your toes for the whole interval. Halfway. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, 10 seconds to get back into those twists. So you can also do these with a medicine ball. All right, go. And you would hold the medicine ball the same way. I've seen people cross their feet before to keep them lifted. That does add a balance challenge. All right, we're more than halfway. You can start with that and then plant your feet if you need to. 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, we're coming back up for those line runs. 3, 2, 1, and go. On your toes, you can engage your arms. You can also hold your arms above your head. Holding your arms above your head increases your heart rate by 40%. So that adds some extra work, more than halfway. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and back to our twists. Let me grab the medicine ball this time. 3, 2, 1, and go. So your options are feet flat on the floor, feet raised, more than halfway. 5 seconds. And rest. Line runs one more time. And go. Staying on our toes. Halfway through. Hold your arms above your head. Extra. Less than 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and done. All right. We made it through 3 rounds of that. All right, the next exercises are core and our cardio. So our core exercise is actually going to be on your back, and this is an alternate toe touch. Remember, we're still working on that rotational movement. So your feet are going to come above your head. Now, the straighter your legs are, the harder it's going to be. So if you need to take it down, you can come and bend your knees up for 90, and you can still do the work. It's a little bit easier. Or you can bend your leg to whatever degree between completely straight and 90 degrees. And what you're going to do is you're going to reach for your opposite toe. So you're rotating and reaching for your opposite toe. You actually want to reach like past the outside of the toe. That's your goal, because you want to get that good rotation in. All right. And then our cardio move is going to be ski jumps. So thinking about our invisible jump rope, except we're actually jumping side to side. If that's too much movement, jumping's not your thing, then you can do some step touches for this part, and that is a good alternative. But you want to move as fast as you can to get the actual cardio up, okay? So, let's get started. In 10 seconds, we're going to start with those alternate toe touches. So you're going to start lying on your mat or on your floor. In 3, 2, 1, and go. So you're really reaching here. You want to bring your shoulders and your head off the mat each time, and make sure you're really getting that twist in. And remember, like I said, you can always drop the angle to make it a little easier, but you still want to reach past to get in that core rotation. Less than 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and rest, but get ready for your, they call them ski jumps. 3, 2, 1, and go. I guess because you're imagining you're skiing downhill like this. Although, I feel like that's not really how it works. So like I said, if jumping's not your thing, you can come out and do a step touch, but you want to do it nice and fast to get that cardio going. 5 seconds. 2, and 1. All right, 10 seconds to rest. 3, 2, 1, and touch. And your shoulder, the one that's doing the reaching, should be coming off the ground each time. That's how much of a twist you want. Halfway. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and get ready to do those ski jumps again. 3, 2, 1, and go. Or you can do your step outs. Any lateral movement that's going to bring your heart rate up. All right, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and stop. We're going back down for our alternate toe touches. Last time for each one of our exercises. 3, 2, 1, and go. Shoulders coming off the ground to get that rotational work in. And the faster you go, the harder your core is working. That's the goal. More than halfway done here. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we are going back to the ski jumps one more time, or those tap outs, depending on how you're doing right now, and go. We're just stepping out, as they often. Halfway. Less than 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so I'm going to show the fourth and last set of exercises. And this one's actually going to have a challenge piece where if you do have 2 weights, you can incorporate them into this core exercise. So first I'll show it without them, and then I'll show it with them. So you're going to start on your back. This is called an X crunch. So you're going to be in an X. This is similar to the rotational movement we did with the toe touches, except you've got a little bit more to work with here. So you're going to take your opposite hand to touch your opposite foot. And you want this to be a fast movement, fast coming up, and you can slow it down going down. But if you bring it coming up really quickly, that's going to help build those core muscles. So if you do have 2 weights, you don't want them to be super heavy, but I don't know what you normally chest press. So you're going to bring them so that your hands are like 45 degrees right here on your chest. And you're going to bring your legs out the same way they were in the original exercise. And then when you bring your opposite hand to meet your foot, you're actually doing a single side chest press as you're going. And that's going to work your chest and your core. So that is an option if you do have 2 weights. Okay, that's the first exercise. Second exercise is going to be 2 jumps out and 1 jump in. So when we did the ski jumps, we had our feet together. This is going to be our feet going out, out, in. Okay, out, out, in, out, in. And again, that is on your toes the whole time. This is a tennis exercise. So if you need a modification, it's going to be similar with the step out, but I would challenge you to stay on your toes the whole time, even if you're not doing the jump movement, because that's still going to get you that benefit of staying on your toes. Okay, so we're going to get started here in about 8 seconds with those X crunches, and you can do them either way. If you have weights, you can do them with the weights. If not, you can do them with them. And go. So this is still that really good core rotational movement. Already halfway. And like I said, if you don't have weights, same thing. 3, 2, 1, and get ready for those out and ins. And the really cool thing, all right, go, is you can almost do these any way you want. You could do 2 out and 2 in. You can go out in. That's good for your brain to mix it up. Anything that's going to keep you on your toes and is different from the movement we did with the ski jumps. 10 seconds. Out, in. Or just one reach. All right, and rest. And we're going back to those X crunches. So weights or no weights. 3, 2, 1, and go. And if you are doing the weights, the move is like a chest press move. So you want your arms, your elbows to be bent when you come down. 10 seconds left. If you don't have weights, arms are extended. 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're getting back up. 3, 2, 1, and go. Up, out, in, or any version of that you want to do, just staying on your toes. Halfway. Three, 2, 1, and back to our crunches for the last time. 3, 2, 1, and go. Ten seconds left. If you don't have weights, same thing. And you are lifting your head and neck off the ground. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, back to those outs and ins one more time. And go. Halfway. And remember, you can do the step out. Just keep it on your toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Okay, you made it through the 4 rounds, and now you're ready for a little bit of stretching. So we're gonna just do some quick stretching. That's going to help stretch out our core and also the backs of our legs, because we did a lot of jumping, and that has an impact on all of your leg muscles, but also has a lot of impact on your calves and your hamstrings. So we're going to come here to a figure 4 position. This is not figure 4, but just your hands and knees. And then you're going to step up into downward facing dog. So stay here for a few minutes, really stretching out those hamstrings and calves. You can walk out your feet if you'd like to. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come forward to a plank position. And you have two options here. Either you can come down a little and come up to stretch your abs so your body's still suspended here. Or from that plank position, you can drop your knees and drop down and come up to stretch your abs this way with your legs on the ground. So the two options, downward facing dog, come into a plank. You can lower a little and then come up with your legs still above your mat. Or from downward facing dog, you can come to a plank, bring your knees down, slowly lower, and then lift your chest to stretch. Okay. When you're ready, come to a seated position with your legs stretched out in front of you. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to bend your knee and place your right foot down on the outside of your left leg. And then you're going to take your left arm, bring it to the inside of that leg, take your right arm and stretch it back as far as you can. Because we did a lot of twisting, and this is a good way to stretch out those muscles and also just a good opportunity to twist. All right, when you're ready, you're going to switch sides. So bring your legs out in front again. And this time, you're taking your left knee to the other side. Right arm comes to the inside of that knee. And left arm stretches back. All right, awesome. Well, I hope we return to tennis soon, but in the meantime, I hope that was a good way for you to stay in shape and stay on your toes.